Okay, we're finally ready to put the seat back in the truck now. And I'm going to do this in the reverse order of how we removed it. So I'm going to start by laying the seat in place on its back, kind of tilted back, so that I can get the wiring connections made up. And then once these are all connected, we can tilt the seat down and line up the bolts. Again, there's two in the rear, one in the front on both sides. 1 and 2. So let me grab this thing, manhandle it into the truck, and we will get this wrapped up pretty quickly, I believe. Okay, you can see the seat is back in the truck. It's leaned back. So we're ready to go ahead and reconnect everything under here. And if you recall from the removal process, there are 4 electrical connections that we had to undo. So we need to make these back up. I'm going to start with the seatbelt switch here. If you can see, we removed it fully from the frame in disassembly. Right here, there's a plastic retainer that slides into the back of half of the connector. So we want to slide that on. Like so, until you hear it click. Then we can push in the other half of the connector, make sure it's lined up properly. Once we hear it click, then we can push this red safety retainer forwards, and that will lock it so it doesn't come undone. The other 3 connections are up here towards the front. Got one here that just needs to slide back in place and it'll click. This one, same thing, and it can only go in one way, but there's a little plastic retainer that corresponds to this opening in the gray end of the motor. You see that click in place. And then the last one is right here at the front. The same thing, you'll hear it click, so you know it's locked in. And then lastly we need to snake the seat position controls between the frame and the underside of the cushion here, so they can wrap around to this side. So now we are ready to tilt the seat back into place, and again we just need to align the mounting studs or bolts with the holes in the brackets below. And then we can secure those once those studs are pushed through the holes. So let's see if I can get this on camera. Alright, I'm going to give this a shot. See if I can do this on camera. I think we're in. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Alright, let me grab the nuts that attach to the studs and we'll get everything tightened down. Okay, just to review, there are a total of 6 13mm nuts that go on the end of those studs, 3 on each side. We just need to run those in. There's the one up front, and here there are the 2 near the rear on the console side, and on the on the door side, there's the 2 in the rear. There's the one in the front. It's pretty easy to feel these by hand. I'm kneeling beside the truck, and I was able to just reach up underneath there, feel the stud by hand, and get the nuts started on there. So I'm going to get these finger tight. Then I'm going to take my 13mm deep well socket and tighten them up really well. Don't know the torque spec for these. If there is one, I'll see if I can find it. And if I can, I will post that in the video or in the description. Otherwise, I'm just going to default to hand tight with a socket wrench. So let me get those tightened up, and we will move on to getting things reinstalled here on the side. Okay, everything's tightened down, but before we move on, I just wanted to remind you that there is a connector here that we did not undo, but we did remove it from the bracket, the seat bracket, so that we could get to this first 13 millimeter nut here on the console side of the seat. So I'm just going to reinsert it in the bracket by pushing the retaining pin into that clip there. All right, now we can move on to the door side, getting this cover panel reinstalled and reattaching the seat belt. We'll be right back. Okay, we're ready to reinstall this plastic side skirt finally. Before we do that, we need to go ahead and slide the seat frame all the way forward as far as it will go. So if you have an electric seat and you've disconnected your battery, you need to go ahead and reconnect that and slide everything as far frontward as it will go. Because if you recall, this side skirt wraps around the front and the back, and if the seat is farther back, this pillar here gets in the way and just makes it more difficult. So go ahead and slide it forward. And if you recall from disassembly, there are a series of 4 screws that hold this in place. They're all Phillips. So the first one in the front looks like this. It aligns with this hole in the side skirt and goes in this hole right there in the frame. The second one looks similar, like that. It aligns with this hole here in the side skirt and corresponds to this hole there in the frame. Third screw is longer, looks like this, and goes in this hole in the side skirt. And the fourth one is accessed from the back and it goes in that hole there and looks like the one in the front, like that. And what I've found is that it's easiest to install the skirt by hooking this backside around first and then swinging it into place. But before we do that, we need to reinstall the position switch here for the seat. We need to clip it into this area here. So if you see on the edge of the switch are these little protrusions that correspond to these openings in the clip on either side here. So we just need to push it into place, make sure that the controls poke through the front, and then just gently press forward until you hear it click. And now it is secured. So now we can take the entire skirt and put it into place. We also need to make sure that this harness goes above this bracket right there, but does not get pinched. You don't want to cut any of those wires, so just make sure that's tucked in there like that, and then gently pull towards the back and make sure that this portion here hooks around here. And you may have to lift up this little carpet flap right here in order to get this to clear behind it. Okay, so I'm going to need both hands to do this. There's really not a good way for me to set up the camera to film this, but I've showed you where all the screws go, so just take your time. Don't break your skirt like I did during removal. And I'll get these in place and we will wrap this up shortly. Okay, I've gotten the side skirt fully installed. I did forget to mention in the previous clip that if you had reinstalled the tilt adjustment lever here like I had to test, then you're going to need to remove that, obviously, to get this side skirt on. That is held in place by this Phillips number 3 screw that just goes in there. Now that we've got the side skirt back on, we can reinstall this. We also need to reinstall the seat belt, which has obviously an opening here that corresponds to this sleeve here, but it also has an L-shaped hook on the end that corresponds to this slot right there. So it should go in something like this. If you can see from below, right there, the hook is in the slot, and we just need to now reinstall the T45 Torx bolt that looks like this right there. So I will tighten that up. If I can find the torque spec, I will provide that information when I edit this video. We also need to go ahead and install the little plastic control knob for the seat controls here, and this should just push on and clip into place like that. And then lastly, there is a plastic cover like this that goes over the seat belt once all that is tightened down. So let me get these last couple of screws and bolts installed, and we can wrap this up once and for all. Okay, I've gotten the Phillips number 3 screw installed here. I've gotten the Torx bolt tightened down for the seat belt, and I'm ready to reinstall this plastic clip here, or plastic cover. It's got a little tab here that aligns with this slot, so we need to align that first at the bottom, and we should be able to just rock it into place and have it clip like that. And we can call this project complete. I can run my seat back now, and you will see that when I pull the tilt lever, I can manipulate the seat once again. Haven't been able to do that in a long time. So between that and my new seat cushion and cover, this is going to feel like a brand new truck. It's the simple things, right, that are important. So I'm excited about this, excited to get this wrapped up. It was a pretty simple job. I don't know what this would cost if you paid a dealer to do it. I had the dealer look at this, and first they told me that I needed a lower frame. So I ordered that, took it back to them, and then they told me, oh, we were wrong, you need the upper frame. That's when I went to the junkyard and just said, you know what, I'm going to do this on my own. I never did get an estimate from a dealer to do it, but I'm guessing this would probably run at least $300 to $400 in labor, plus the cost of the parts. So in any case, I'm excited to have done this on my own, and I'm glad to have a functional seat back again. So I don't know how common this failure is with these seats, but if you do need to repair your driver's seat, or the process would be the same on the passenger seat, just the opposite basically. But if any of you out there have the same failure, I hope you can find a replacement like I did and tackle this on your own. So I hope this video has been helpful. I know it's been kind of tedious and long, but thanks for sticking through it if you've made it this far. Appreciate you watching. Take care.